everyone, my name is Voodoo, and in today's video, I'm going to go over two of the items from the brand new Mega Dungeon that are items that you probably want to end up picking up on your Havoc Demon Hunter. They're looking to be incredibly strong in the next patch and in the future. Alright, so you're probably wondering what two items I'm talking about, and I'll get to that. First though, a few things. One, I do want to say thanks for all the support and likes on the videos recently. It's really been helping the videos out. Again, if you like the content, any channel, any content creator, scroll down, hit the like button before you start watching the video, and then come back up. It's the most free way to support us, help spread the video. Also, subscribe. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So what items am I talking about? Well, obviously, for those of you who've been living under a rock, there's a brand new Mega Dungeon, Dawn of the Infinite. I'll have some footage of me doing it on my evoker up on the screen throughout the whole video, yada yada yada. Channel members have also gotten a video of me going over the entire loot table earlier, but there's a few things that we've learned, and I'll have some sims and some things later on in the video just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. But there's two items specifically, and another one that's kind of valuable, that you really want to pick up for Havoc, and I'll go over why. So obviously, Mega Dungeon, it's pretty sick, honestly. The map looks cool. All the bosses are pretty fun. It's pretty doable. I wouldn't say it's very hard at all, even. On a 440... Actually, I wasn't even 440. On a 430 character with us not really knowing the fights very well, it was pretty easy. So on a 440 character, you'll find it pretty doable. It gives really good gear. It gives a lot of aspects crests too, so it's great for alts. It's going to be Mythic Plus next season, we assume. Season 3. So you should get in there, learn the fights a bit, recommend that. But there are two items you really want to pick up. So the first one, going to be off this first boss here. Chronocar, pretty easy boss. I'll throw it up on the screen. But the item is going to be Double Time. And you're looking at this, Double Time. I guess I'll put it onto the actual loot drop. Drops at 437, which means you can upgrade it to 441. And it is a War Glaive weapon with critical strike and haste, and something stat called Timestrike. Now you're looking at it, and you're probably confused about what Timestrike is, and that's fair. Nowhere on this glaive does it tell you what Timestrike does, so I don't blame you for having no idea what this means. Basically, Timestrike, which is a thing we've been spending some time trying to figure out. We're not fully certain on it, but we've gotten to a point where we can understand what's happening with it. Timestrike is an effect. The amount of Timestrike stat you have doesn't actually change anything. But basically what it does is you have a 10% chance on every single damage event you do to replicate 10% of that damage 3 seconds later. So let's say I'm going in and I hit a very big death sweep, right? I hit a death sweep for 300,000. I then would have a 10% chance to do 10% of that damage 3 seconds later. So it put a little effect on a target. Obviously, I don't have a glaive right now, so I can't show you the effect. But it'll put an effect on that target that 3 seconds later will hit for 30,000. Now, we knew that happened due to data mining, but there were a few things we didn't know about it. So it's looking like it can't crit, nor is it affected by versatility. Just a flat 10% thing, which is fine. But the thing we weren't sure about, and the reason why we weren't 100% sure if Double Time was going to be good or not, was how the effect worked. So we weren't sure if it would overwrite the proc, right? Let's say you hit a 30,000 death sweep, and the thing was ticking down, but then you procced it off your melee attacks, right? And it was going to hit for 3,000, if it would overwrite it, or if it would add the damage duration to it. We weren't sure how the dot was actually going to work. Now with a little bit more testing and stuff, we actually know that multiple procs work as multiple instances of damage on the target, or supposedly. So how it would work, right? If you hit the death sweep chance, right, it would put the countdown debuff on the target, and if you hit another one, it would do a separate one. So both damaging events would hit the target and end up doing damage. That's pretty good. That's a free, just extra 2%, 1% damage, which is very valuable. Something similar to Krog Tusk. However, one of the really important things with this weapon here is that it actually has stats on it. Not only does it have stats on it, it has good stats on it. It has high crit, low haste, which are our best stats for raid. Now, this can also probably proc an AoE. Again, not fully sure on that one. Not a lot of testing has been done. Not many people have this. It does look cool, by the way. Little bronze glaive thing. It can proc an AoE if you hit a bunch of targets, yada, yada, yada. But it having stats is a really big deal. So we're going to swap over to some sims now, and I'll show you guys how this weapon is simming for me. Just for a record, these are my weapons for single target. This has Sophic on it because I'm too lazy to swap between Wafting and Sophic because I use this weapon in M+ as well. So I have one wafting, one sophic. Again, probably better to do wafting, but whatever, right? So again, keep that in mind. Now I will be doing all the sims with wafting on the weapons just because that is our best thing. But I'll swap over to some sims now of some other weapon choices. All right, so here's a latest sim. Now, latest is important so that you make sure you have the most up-to-date stuff. This should have double time working. Anyways, here's a latest sim of basically most weapon options I have available to me. So I have my current weapon just with wafting, just to show you guys a baseline there. So just putting on the wafting enchant, roughly 400 DPS. So we can subtract 400 DPS from all these things roughly. But even then, we can look and we can see that this is a 447 Tusk in the offhand. And it is still 817 DPS better in single target. Now that is a good number, especially compared to like a 6 eye level difference. This having stats is a big deal, especially crit haste stats. Those are the stats we love. This could have been a mastery versus war glaive and it would have been much worse. But it being crit haste is a big deal. And this shows that this weapon is very, very good. Even for me, with a 447 weapon in my offhand that's pretty strong. So this is definitely something we want to look into. Definitely something you want to pick up. Now, no one has 2 of them yet, so we're not sure how 2 of them work. We don't know if that will increase the chance of it proccing. We don't know if that will double the chance or whatever. But getting more of the Timestrike stat wouldn't increase the effect. I assume it would just increase the chance of it proccing. You'd have 2 rolls at 10% or something. But again, we don't fully know that. No one really has 2 yet, unless they did like a DH stack and got 2 off the first boss. But I'll probably post a pinned comment as we know more, or maybe not if nothing really matters. But this weapon is very, very strong. It can also proc an AoE whenever it, like if you I-beam a pack, it can proc any of those targets. So this weapon seems very powerful. I would definitely hurry up and get yourselves one of those. Now there is one more thing I want to talk about from the dungeon in general. And that's because we found out recently about the hard mode. So we're going to swap over to a Wowhead article right about now, and we'll talk about hard mode and what might be good out of that dungeon. Alright, so this is the hard mode thing that Wowhead has posted. Now, I haven't done it on hard mode myself. Obviously, this came out after I've done it already for the week on my Evoker. Maybe I can on my Havoc. We'll see. I know a lot of my guildies and friends have already done it, so we'll see what happens on that one. But this is important. Now, you see it says drops 441. However, any 441 piece now is on the myth loot track, which means it can go up to 447, and that is why it's important. So the way you do this, I'm not going to talk about it too much. Or to go through a guide. You have to grab these 4 time lock artifacts to put that back where it came from. There's little hourglasses. One of them is after boss 2, one's after boss 5, and then after boss 6 and 7 in the middle. And then in the last boss, you have to run them into portals. Now, while you have these things, you can't mount, you can't double jump, you can't do a few other things. And if you die, you'll lose it and you're over, right? So you have to do it deathless, basically. And if you do that, then the last boss of the raid will drop 447, basically, gear. Probably wondering, why would I care about that 447 gear? Well, there is one reason. That is going to be this one trinket here. Also the belt, I guess, if you're not going to get Sark belt. This belt is very good at 447. High crit, high haste. Definitely recommend picking that up if you can. Obviously, the Sark 450 belt is still a little bit better, but this belt is statted very well, honestly. Anyways, so it's because of the Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows. Basically, you gaze into it, inviting a version of your future self to fight alongside you for 20 seconds, dealing damage, and you're also giving yourself a large amount of secondary stat. Now, the reason for this being good is it goes up to 447 and it has an Agi on equip, right? So you can compare it basically to the trinket. Oh, my bags are a mess. Ignore that. Well, you compare it basically to the trinket Iridius Fragment. Now, Iridius Fragment is basically the opposite. Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows would basically give you a large amount of crit whenever you use it, which can potentially be valuable with your Spread Eagle Burst. And when this comes out in Mythic Plus, this will probably be our best trinket for AoE, just bar none. It'll fill the role of Iridius Fragment. Iridius is worse outside of your cooldowns because of Mastery, but better inside of them, where Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows is better outside of your cooldowns, but worse inside of them. The secondary stat, getting 3,000 crit, is going to be good. You'll have a ton of crit, which in turn will increase all your damage because of know your enemy and yada yada, blah 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 blah. It'll put you, I think full buffed, I'm at like 8,000 crit. I think a little bit less in my AoE build, but I have a ton of crit at full buff, which does mean I'll go pretty far into the DR, but having those large amounts of crit in your windows will end up making the damage a lot higher, obviously. So this trinket coming at 447, giving you that agility, is very good. Now, the guy doesn't do a ton of damage when it's summoned, Now, for casters, it's bugged currently. Kalamazi did a video about this, so shout out to him. I'll link it down below, where he mentions that it's bugged for casters, not doing any damage. From what I've seen, that's not this. That's like the same. Sorry, not the same for melee specs. However, it's also not doing a lot of damage in general. So I think compared to Sims, this isn't really working fully because it wasn't really tested. But I think the damage that the guys are doing is currently bugged and they're not doing the proper thing. So keep that in mind. This could get a little bit better. But this coming at 447 does make it very interesting. I don't know if it'll beat out a 447 fragment, but this can be very, very good for builds that want those large amounts of secondary stats. And it's important to keep this in mind that this is going to come down the line next patch. So this could be very, very strong, right? Now, again, this one's not as big of a pickup. If you can get it at 447, I would grab it and potentially use it in Mythic Plus with something like Spread Eagle or Left Right instead of Iridius Fragment. Where it would be best is if we hard stack Mastery in sort of an any means necessary style of build, similar to Puzzle Box from past dungeons. So if you guys don't know what Puzzle Box is, which boss was it? There we go. It's this one. You just get, it's an on use that gives you a large amount of Mastery. They had to nerf it a bit because of how busted it was for DK. But it's still a very good trinket that we ended up using last tier. Basically the same idea, gives you a large amount of secondary, gives you agility on equip. Basically the same idea as Dawn of the Infinite, Chrono Lord Dio's Mirror. Now it doesn't give you for as long, but again, definitely keep your eye on this. Might not end up being like that insane, but it being at 447 means you should pick it up. So what do you think? That's gonna be it for my video today, but are you gonna go out and pick up a weapon or one of that trinket? I do think the weapon's gonna be worth it. Now, the trinket remains to be seen. It might be able to revive some kind of any means necessary based build, because that's gonna give you a ton of burst with any means necessary and your immolation aura, fell devastation, that kind of thing. But we'll see how that ends up working. You have to gear like really mastery heavy for that, which could be weird. But again, it's at 447, so it is worth it to mention. So that's gonna be it for the video today. Of course, let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below, any questions, comments, any of that. Also drop a like. Again, thank you so much for the likes. Likes are helping grow the channel. We're past 1,000 subs, which is crazy. So let's push. Hopefully we can hit 10K by the end of the year. That would be a sick milestone. And again, I want to thank everybody. If you want to support me, hit the sub button or follow the link down below. Become a channel member. You get exclusive perks, access to a special part of the Discord, channel emotes for streams, comments. You also get access to fun other perks like a VOD review, which I actually should have one coming up over the next few days. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck getting these new items. Good luck on your raids, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to my channel members: 121, Payne, Zuligan, James, Evangel Faraz, Oxclamation, Brad Wisnack, It's Bulk, Flapjack67, and Angelo. Big shout out to all you guys. Really appreciate it. Your support means so much to me. If anyone else wants to become a channel member, get access to a ton of cool perks, including special stuff in my Discord, access to log review, VOD review, emotes during streams and on comments. And make sure you click the link below, follow it, become a channel member. Help support me make some great content for you guys. Again, big thank you to you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.